And that's their game. That's where they want to go. Cam Martin and draw the foul. The foul's going to be on the foul's going to be on Ryan Hawkins. Cam Martin will go to the line. Misses the first one.
Martin's a very, very good free throw shooter.
Shoots 83% on the year, and with a post player like that gets so many looks and is the focal point of this offense, and probably on the defensive scouting report, he's got to.
Boy, that's unusual for him.
Misses them both. Too. Hudgens for the Bearcats. Again, works his way around another screen. That's a Dreamer who's just checked in. Wes Dreamer off on the three. Kinzer Lambert out of Walker. Out to Clark. And Clark had himself a good night yesterday. Had 24 points. Let's take to the basket. And that's a tough finish.
Well, that was. That's a tougher shot than it looks like. He made it look easy, but that is a tough shot.
You got to gauge the distance, and you're falling away. Hudgens again works away around another screen. The foul is going to be on Braylon Walker.
You know, Northwest is using a double high ball screen is what they're doing right now, and it's kind of set where Hutchins will go off either right or left. With, let's just say he goes off the right side, and then that screener will get screened by the other screener. It's kind of a pick-the-picker type of move, and he can throw it back for the three, and I think you'll see that. And that's one of the reasons that they're putting Diego down on the baseline, because he's not out there shooting the three.
And Hudgens really takes his time on the screens. He really gauges what's happening. Looks like something happened on the floor. I saw Hudgens checking around his uniform. Not sure if somebody
there had to be
cut.
blood someplace. Yeah.
Hudgens again using that double ball screen.
See, there's the pick for Welty coming this way.
Diego Bernard has done a good job of penetrating and pulls from mid-range. Too long. Rebound Elijah Clark, outlet pass to Jennings. Jennings guarded by Bernard. Kinzer Lambert yet to score. Back out to Walker.
Switch.
Then down low to Martin. Martin, this is bread and butter. Backs his way down. Just bullies his way for the finish.
Well, West Streamer's going to have to be a little bit stronger about holding his position there. I think he just kind of gave in, and he ended up getting a wide open layup.
West Dreamer. Rebound to Hawkins. Has to save it. Beautiful pass to Welty. As Hudgens will reset the offense. Out to Wes Dreamer, who pulls from three and buries it.
Omar, what they're doing right now is they're saying, okay, you can score down here on me, Cam Martin, for two, but Wes Dreamer is going to make Cam Martin have to come out and guard him, and he's shooting threes. I'd trade 3 for 2 any day.
And he's definitely not one you want to have open looks for, and that's exactly what he had there. Stolen away by Bernard. Well, the foul on the floor. Checking in for the Lions will be Winston Desiso.
I think Desiso had as much to do with the win last night as any other player from Missouri Southern. I think he came in under control, really played well. I think he contributed 7 or 8 points and really played as well as he possibly could, I think. You
know, and anybody who watched that game knew it was such a weird game and how it went through. Diego Bernard couldn't finish the reverse lay-in. Desiso for the Lions on the other end.
Well, with Bernard, you're watching one of the best athletes in this whole, maybe all Division II, because he is really athletic.
He only comes in at 6 feet tall, but he just skies up for the rebounds. And he can easily out-rebound Martin if it comes down to somebody jumping for it.
Diego could have played Division I football in a lot of places.
Stolen away by the Bearcats. Fans loud and proud for both sides. Wes Dreamer on the corner. Knocks it down.
There again, they're going to get Cam Martin again for elbow, and they're going to look at this one. I'll guarantee you they're going to look at it, and he's got to be really careful because that's what started it last night, and it really took their team out of rhythm at that point, and he can't do it again this afternoon.
And I think they're actually going to get that one on Lambert.
Are they?
They're going to look at the monitor. We'll keep it here. Not sure exactly what the call is going to be.
Well, if they did, you know, it was a little late because I think Cam Martin got his 2 cents worth in the whole deal.
I saw after that they called that foul. Lambert was kind of trying to plead his case to the ref.
Well, I think going back to my point there's a mismatch on both ends, and you know, Cam Martin against Wes Dreamer offensively, Dreamer's going to have a hard time holding his position. But you know, to me, and I've had a lot of teams that could do this. Dreamer can go to the perimeter and shoot the 3, and that means Cam Martin's either has to come out and guard him, where he can't do that, and when he does that, it takes him away from the boards. And I think it's an interesting matchup right now.
Such a hot shooting team in Northwest Missouri State. Again, they shoot 48% from 3. You don't want to give them too many attempts. As now we're going to cut it out to Bethany for a sideline report.
Well, I think Cam Martin is going to have to, you know, decide what he wants to do too, if he's going to go out to the perimeter or not, because they're having problems picking people up. They've allowed Diego Bernard some space. They're going to let him shoot the 3, but Diego wisely, obviously, Coach McCullum has brought him inside a little bit.
All right,
more.
now we're going to go to Bethany Bowman on the sideline for a report.
Guys, what an atmosphere it is here at Municipal Auditorium for this MIAA Men's Championship game. What we have to remember is we're not only seeing some premier talent from the MIAA, but across Division II basketball. The top 3 scorers in the conference, and Cam Martin, Ryan Hawkins, and Trevor Hudgens all playing in this game. And then Northwest Missouri State defensively, so solid as well. The #1 scoring defense in the MIAA. And so Jeff Boschee telling his team in the last timeout, hey, we have to look for ways that we can get the ball to Cam Martin, get it inside with his size, use some ball fakes, use penetration. There's too much dribbling going on. He's going to move the ball up. Let's find open under the post. Back to you guys.
And that's another thing that she mentioned, that, again, the focal point of this Missouri Southern team, Cam Martin. Of course, he only has 4 points, 2 of 4 from the field, 3 rebounds. But he's definitely a very solid player, and they're going to need to watch, Northwest is going to need to watch Cam Martin and how he performs.
Okay, and the referees just came over. After reviewing it, they're staying with the common foul, just the foul on the play. So it'll be Northwest ball out of bounds underneath their basket.
Diego Bernard will inbound. He'll give to Ryan Hawkins. We have the buzzer go off.
The buzzer's been going off, so my guess is they'll reset the shot clock and take the ball out of bounds again.
I guess with any sort of game, you should have a little bit of complications, Coach.
This is a championship game. There's not supposed to be any faux pas, no mistakes.
If only it were that easy.
Yeah, I know. There again, and now look right now where Dreamer is. Now he's being guarded by a smaller player, and Cam Martin is actually on Diego.
Now that's interesting as well, as Bernard with definitely the speed advantage over Martin.
No, but they're going to let him have any shot he wants from the perimeter.
As Wes Streamer drives and finishes with the left.
Once again, we talked about earlier, you do not see Northwest take medium range jump shots. They're going to get it to the basket, or they're going to shoot the 3.
They shoot very smart shots, and Wes Streamer now with 8.
Now he's actually trying to front him.
It'll be interesting to see their approach on Cam Martin. Such a bully down low. Odessa still off on the 3, rebound of Bernard.
Well, you can see how athletic Bernard is. Bernard had 18 rebounds yesterday against Missouri Western.
Coming in at 6 feet tall.
Right.
With such just an explosive ability to get anywhere on the court and pull down rebounds. As Hawkins.
There's a mismatch on size here.
Size on Odessa, so Cam Martin closely on the double team. Wes Dreamer. Put it long, rebounded Jennings. Wes Streamer with 2 early 3s for the Bearcats. Parker Jennings with the ball for the Lions. That's Lambert. It'll go the other way. Looks like that was going to be on Cam Martin.
Yep.
That's going to be his first. Checking into the game for the Lions is Reggie Tharp, who will replace Parker Jennings.
Well, again, we're gonna go back to yesterday, and Cam Martin is too good of a player to not be on the floor, and he has to be careful not to pick up those kind of cheap fouls.
And it's almost, I dare say that it was almost lucky that the Lions won the game yesterday with Cam Martin off the floor, and just the type of game that it was.
Absolutely.
Ryan Hawkins looked to penetrate down low. Little skyhook over Desiso, uses the size advantage very well.
I know Ryan Hawkins, I think everyone realizes is a very good player, but I actually think he's one of the most underrated players in the entire MIAA. I don't think people realize just how good he is.
Averages 23 points a game, shoots 56% from the field, 45% from three. Of course, Ryan Hawkins, the Defensive Player of the Year in the MIAA. Can do it on both ends. As Desiso for the Lions. Now to Martin. Now to Elijah Clark. Use a screen from Lambert and pull from three. And puts it in.
They have to get Clark involved. That's a big part. That's a big basket for them. It can't be just Cam Martin. They have to get other players involved.
You really, like you said, you just can't get. You can't expect to win against a team like Northwest Missouri State and relying on one player.
No
It's got to
way.
be a team effort if you want to beat a team as good as the Bearcats. Elijah Clark for the for the Lions. Looks to work his way around a screen. Instead it goes the other way and kicks it Desiso. Tharp will reset the offense. Shot clock winds down. Tharp gives to Martin. Almost thought about the three, instead penetrates and soars up for the slam.
Well, he got Hawkins up in the air, I think, and he really doesn't need to do that. I think a hand up, especially with Ryan's length. There's a layup.
And I really don't think Cam Martin is that type of consistent three-point shooter where you have to worry about it on each possession.
That was just a great high ball screen, cut to the basket. We've said a lot of great things about Ben McCollum, with undoubtedly, in my opinion, probably the best Division II coach in the country, and should probably be in Division I. But Jeff Moshe on his side has done a great job of bringing this program. It always was a good program, but he's continued their success.
Cam Martin hits a three. And that's kind of one of the things you have to give up if you're the Bearcats. You play on him too hard, and of course you saw the dunk on the other end, and he can hit the three.
Well, I'd say if you're going to jump in the air and let him go to the basket, there's not too many people going to get in his path.
That's right. Bernard from the corner buries it. Reggie Tharp on the other end. Bearcats with a 6-point lead. Desiso. Now that's a tough lay-in as well. Didn't control it with both hands, just kind of scooped it up with one.
Played it off the board, and he played it above the block high.
Hudgens again working his way around a couple screens. Use another screen from Hawkins. Instead goes the other way. Finds a penetrating Bernard, who puts it in over Martin.
Well, he challenged Cam Martin, and Cam Martin held his ground, went straight up, no foul, but made it tough on Diego.
As Desiso now to Tharp. Looking down low for Cam Martin. And it'll go the other way. So we'll have another timeout on the floor. We'll take it with them as well.
Well, that's one of the things that you really have to be concerned about. When you set those screens, you have to get set. You cannot be moving, because that's the call they like to make.
Cut it to a break on the MIAA Network.
Okay, coming back, Omar, the interesting thing is that Diego Bernard, who they're allowing to shoot the three, has been guarded by Cam Martin, so he's open for the three. Cam Martin, on the other hand, goes out to the perimeter and takes the three and hits it. So, interesting matchup.
And Bernard's that type of
there
player.
he is again.
If he gets a step on Martin, he can sky up for a slam, too, as he hits the mid-range jumper.
That's Ben McCollum's call right there. He's saying, all right, if they want to guard Diego with Cam Martin, I'm going to let Diego go one-on-one.
Absolutely. As a turnover for the Lions, Bearcat basketball, they hold an 8-point lead over the Lions by a score of 28 to 27 minutes ago here in the first half. Definitely been a close game. Still anybody's ball game. Another team with a great amount of momentum. Bearcats on the brink. As Hudgens will drive, instead of work his way around. I give out to Bernard. There's that matchup we've been highlighting. Looks to work a little fadeaway mid-range, airballed it.
Well, he short-armed that one, but again, he can take Cam Martin and probably get, that's one of the few mid-range, I would say it was probably a mid-range jump shot. It's probably closer to an 8 or 10 footer, but.
And you got a little Bernard with a smile on his face after that one. As Martin had to kind of adjust his shot a little bit, but gets it anyway.
No, but he did a great job of sealing inside and a good pass.
It's Cam Martin now with 11. Hudgens will work his way around a screen from Welty. Hudgens from the top of the key absolutely drills it.
Well, there's that pick and roll that they need to do a better job. Cam Martin's got to come out and show a little bit. They call it hedging. He needs to hedge on the screen.
And one of the things we hammered on in the pregame, and again, one of the things that we saw in their matchup yesterday against Rogers State, as Bernard skies up for the rebound.
As I mentioned earlier, Diego Bernard could have played Division I, big-time Division I football in a lot of different places.
Hudgens to the basket.
Again, he made that look so easy, but he got caught in the air, put spin on the ball, perfectly played. Just, I think people have to realize that they're seeing a lot of Division I basketball players, on this floor. Anyone watching this broadcast and thinking that these are just all Division II players that couldn't play Division I, well, they're wrong, because there's 2 or 3 kids that easily could play at probably high mid-major schools.
And Hudgens does such a great job using that pick and roll, and he doesn't, take it with a full head of steam. He allows time for the play to build, and just flows very well with the game. Now with 14 points.
I think yesterday, in watching Missouri Western play, you remember Tyrell Carroll. Tyrell Carroll and Trevor Hudson are 2 of the best, what I call hesitation, stop-and-go drivers in probably all of college basketball. They can get you to commit and then drive by you as quickly as anybody else. They are 2 really good players.
2 tremendous talents, and a lot of talent on display here in the MIAA tournament, but it comes down to 2 teams, Missouri Southern and Northwest, Missouri State. Desiso drive on Hawkins, finishes over Bernard. That wasn't an easy finish either. Bernard was right there.
Desiso has really done a good job for them.
And again, another thing we kind of hammered on is you're going to have to play like a team if you're going to want to beat Northwest. You're going to have good minutes from every player that checks in. Hawkins' little floater off the mark. Rebound to Desiso. Almost gets it poked away by Bernard. That's Lambert on the other end. Works his way around the screen, looking down low to Christian Bundy, who just checked in. Lambert gets it poked away. It'll be off his foot, and it'll go the other way to Bearcats.
Well, I think going back to the comments about Coach Boshi talking about not dribbling the ball so much and not keeping the ball in one spot and getting it moving to spread the defense. And that time, Kinzer Lambert did not do it, and he ended up turning the ball over. And
Lambert only has 2 points, and again, if you're Missouri Southern, you need a great night from Kinzer Lambert.
Absolutely.
As Hudgens guarded by Parker Jennings out to Bernard, who's guarded by Bundy. A good backdoor look from Bernard to Hudgens.
This kid is just amazing. There's no question about it. A great pass from Bernard, but still double clutch the layup.
And a big smile on Bernard's face, just really loving the moment as Bundy cleans up the glass there. Bearcats with a 9-point lead.
Well, this is a crucial time for Southern right now. They have to hang in there with them.
Trevor Hudgens on the far wing, calling for the ISO on Jennings, blows right by him, dishes it to Bernard, cleaned up by Dreamer.
Wes Dreamer just hangs in there and just shows up every once in a while to do the right thing.
Absolutely. Wes Dreamer with 8. Now with 10. Had 2 early threes and 2 lay-ins. Adesiso couldn't get that one to fall. Rebound to Ryan Hawkins.
It's a great example of what I talked about earlier. You cannot take quick shots and not make them, because you're going to be right back here on defense, and here we see it, and now you're chasing them around, and you're going to chase them around for probably 20 seconds here.
They do such a good job of controlling the tempo, never rushed on the offensive end.
That's an unusually quick shot, actually, for Northwest, but of course, who's taking it but Trevor Hudgens?
MIAA Player of the Year, Trevor Hudgens. Lambert off the mark. And again, just every time the Bearcats get the ball, they just slow it down. It's really
never
amazing
run.
to see.
They never run. There's no transition, but they're going to make you play defense, and eventually they wear you down and wear you out.
They lead by 11. Bernard, nice little jab step. Turnaround jump shot. Rebound kicked. It'll stay with the Bearcats as Bundy and Clark fought for it.
Actually, Missouri Southern did a really, really good job of blocking out there, and it's just unfortunate that it just came off and went, out of bounds. But Diego's got to be careful that they doesn't take it too quickly. They want you to play defense for 20 seconds each time.
Takes you to a break on the MIAA Network.
In the MIAA, we care. We bring our A game in the MIAA.
We are higher education. We are community. We are winners. We care about giving student athletes a voice. We are Division II. We are MIAA strong.
Signs attract half of all new customers. A vehicle wrap can get 30,000 views per day. On-site signage costs roughly 2 cents per view. At Impact Signs, Awnings, Wraps, we know signs work. Custom signs, interior or exterior, for any application. Commercial awnings, any shape, any size. Full-color video displays, time and temp boards, gas price changers, and scoreboards. We can wrap anything, vehicles, trailers, boats, and more. Check us out at impact4800.com.
Little under 3 minutes to go here in the first half. Northwest Missouri State hanging on to an 11-point lead over Missouri Southern State University. We see Cam Martin, 11 points, 5 of 7 from the field, and 3 turnovers, Coach.
One of the other keys, too, is how about the flow of this game compared to the one we had last? Oh, wow.
Ryan Hawkins skies up for the alley-oop jam. Now that's a momentum builder. Hawkins up high, down hard.
Yeah, and you can see it coming. Great pass.
Is on the other end. Desiso finishes with the easy lay-in.
I think it was Clark.
That was Clark.
Yeah. And once again, Clark and Lambert and some of the other players have got to get themselves going.
As Huckins will penetrate.
That's the first time I've seen him really get in too big a hurry inside. He could have slowed down and made that shot a little easier.
And again, kind of like you mentioned earlier, not a whole lot of fast possessions for Northwest.
No, more so.
As Cam Martin is going to pick up a foul. Looks like he kind of elbowed Dreamer. I believe that's going to be number 2.
The second foul.
On Cam Martin, indeed it is. Kmart with 2 fouls will check out. They'll get replaced by Christian Bundy.
It'll be interesting to see. It's too bad Welty can't go inside. He has Parker Jennings on him right now, and there's a big difference in size there. But Welty is not an inside player.
Hudgens a one-on-one on Jennings, pulls from 3. Rebound control by the Lions. Kinzer Lambert guarded by Hudgens. Lambert only with 2 points. Just so good jab step, pulls from the elbow and knocks it down.
Well, I'm almost like, where has he been all season? Because this kid really has played well.
Just great on ball screens. Very explosive player off the dribble.
I know I did the game at our place against Southern that Missouri Western won, and I don't remember him playing very much.
Hudgens out to Draper, who pulls from 3 and drills it. West Streamer's third 3 of the game.
And there's an example, 3 at one end, 2 at the other. Mid-range jump shot by Southern and a 3-pointer by Northwest.
As Elijah Clark penetrates, hesitates a little bit, rebounds controlled by Welty. There's a 3-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Trevor Hudgens around a screen, gets it poked away by Bundy. It'll stay with the Bearcats. Bearcats with a 12-point lead, 42-30. 23 seconds to go in the first half.
Well, I think you'll see the Bearcats maybe not take this one down all the way. Nope.
Dreamer's
got it going a little bit right now. He really feels it. And there's another thing that they do so well is go to the guy with the hot hand, and they've done a great job of it with Dreamer.
Poked away by Bernard. Tries saving it. It'll stay with the Lions. You got to admire the hustle there by Bernard.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And that's another thing about Northwest. West Streamer's coming off the bench, but they only go about 6 or 7 deep. In the first matchup between the two, we had 3 players who played the full 40 minutes for the Bearcats.
I think they've had several games. I bet you Trevor Hutchins has played more games full 40 minutes than less.
Desisto answers back with a 3 of his own. As time expires, Northwest Missouri State 45, Missouri Southern State University 33.
Well, Desisto, has just absolutely done a great job, and he did it last night, and he's doing it again this afternoon.
It's been such a great ball game, Coach. What are some things you've been noticing?
Well, I just believe that Missouri Southern has to get more players involved offensively, number one, and you cannot again trade 2s for 3s, and that's what's happened to the game of basketball. It's turned into a 3-point shooting game, and right now they're not doing that.
We're going to kick it to Bethany, who's with Coach Ben McCollum.
Coach, a 12-point lead for you in the Bearcats at the half. Are you pleased with the way your guys played offensively?
Yeah, I thought we executed offensively. Defensively, we're doing okay. There's a lot of game left. They're a really good team. It's far from over.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
All right, back to you guys.
Well, you can tell that Coach McCullough's been doing a little bit of yelling there. He's got his voice is a little hoarse. And you know what? You have to admire so much in Ben McCollum in the ability that over this 4 or 5 year period, probably 4-year period, really, when they've just been so outstanding, to keep that energy and intensity with not only his team but himself to come out every single night, because you are getting the best shot from everybody, whether it's the bottom of the MIAA or the team in second place. You're getting the best shot by each one of those teams.
Absolutely. We're going to cut it to a break, and we will follow with the halftime show. You're watching coverage of the championship game here at Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City, Missouri.
Welcome back, everybody, inside our halftime studio. Evan Holmes and Jacob Blair here with you. An exciting first half between Northwest Missouri and Missouri Southern. The Bearcats lead Most Southern by a score of 45-33. And as we take a look at some first half highlights, Jacob, first from Missouri Southern, their offense starts and it ends with Cam Martin. And despite the fact that he had 11 points in that first half, it seems as though that he's had the players around him to help build up Missouri Southern's offense. The problem is Northwest is anticipating everything he does.
Yeah, for Cam Martin, 11 points thus far in this game, 5 for 7 from the field, but for Northwest, they're limiting his shot opportunities. Wes Dreamer, Luke Waters, they've done a phenomenal job down there in the post. limiting those shot opportunities, forcing the ball away from Cam Martin. So it's a quiet 11 for Cam. He still has those 11, and for Missouri Southern, look to go back to him a little bit more here in the second half.
Well, like I said before, as we take a look at his highlights, it starts and ends with Cam Martin, the MIAA's leading scorer this season, averaging just over 24 points per contest. And meanwhile, on the other side with Northwest Missouri, I got the anticipation before this game that Trevor Hudgens had 2 terrific games. I mean, he had 17 and 19 points in his first 2 games, but he didn't look like the Trevor Hudgens that we're seeing today. I predicted he would have a big game sooner or later, and I think Missouri Southern was also in trouble because he hadn't had one yet. He's been going to work and been going to work effectively.
And what makes Trevor Hudgens so good is you saw a couple games early in the tournament where he wasn't necessarily that #1 scoring option, but there's a reason he's the MIAA Player of the Year. It's because he can do things in so many different ways. Today, it has been Trevor Hudgens scoring not only from the three-point line where he shoots so well, but he's been able to make some really good cuts, get passes from his teammates, and we've seen some tough finishes at the rim here in this one.
He can do just about everything as well. And, you know, the reason I think why he's the MIAA Player of the Year is not necessarily his scoring. He's capable of doing that, but it's his overall play at both ends of the floor that's really something to behold. In terms of some first half statistics for you, Missouri Southern is currently leading the rebounding battle right now, 16-13. But the important thing is Missouri Southern has hit 53% of their shots, and they've only had one game this year where they've shot less than 40%, and that was their only loss to Central Missouri. Anytime they shoot 40% or better, they win, and that is because...
Yeah, Northwest, they just move the ball so well. They're able to find the open man. You see the extra passes here in this one, and it's today. West Dreamer is one that I've looked at. He's got 16 points in this one, 4 for 7 from 3, 6 for 10 from the field. This is a player that comes off the bench and has had a phenomenal tournament, put himself in running for maybe most outstanding player. And
no question.
That's something that when you've got Trevor Hudgens, Ryan Hawkins, Cam Martin all on the floor, it's been West Dreamer for the Bearcats that have really opened that offense and allowed Trevor Hudgens to get his 16 points here in the first half, 7 for 10 from the field. And that's what Northwest does so well. They just shoot the ball so efficiently. It's about keeping up with Northwest, and shooting-wise, Missouri Southern's been able to do that at about 58%. It's just been the turnovers for them that have caused a problem.
And it seems like for Missouri Southern in this second half, last question before we go to break, it seems like for Missouri Southern, they have to be at least a couple of steps better than why do I keep saying Mo West? They have to be a couple of steps better than Northwest in order to come back here.
Yeah, for Missouri Southern, again, those 8 turnovers, that's where the difference is. Northwest, they've just had more shot opportunities. They've beat out Missouri Southern 36 shots to 26 shots. So Missouri Southern, hold on to the basketball, get those open looks, and work yourself back into this game.
We're going to find out what they have to offer. We'll be right back with more of our halftime show after this. Welcome back to our halftime show here at the MIAA tournament. One half of play has been played in the men's championship game. Northwest is ahead of Missouri Southern 45-33. Evan Holmes with Jacob Blair right here with you. And Jacob, let's take a look at the statistics for both of the leading men for both these teams in the first half. That would be Cam Newton for Missouri Southern and Trevor Hudgens for Northwest Missouri. And one thing about both of these guys is that their offense not only gets themselves going, but it gets the entire team going as well. Yeah, you could say Hudgens has had a step on Cam Martin, but the thing to point out, though, is these are the two go-to guys for these teams, and I think they'll continue to be in the second half.
And one thing for Trevor Hudgens is he's also a facilitator. He is the point guard for Northwest. You see those 4 assists along with the 16 points. That's been big for Northwest, being able to extend the Missouri Southern defense. And then, again, for Cam Martin, does a lot of his work in the post, did step out and hit a 3, and that's important for him to bring the defense out as well. And
he made that one rain. And he made that three-pointer rain.
And so make those threes, but then get in the post. And one thing for him is continue to use the footwork. One thing that makes Cam Martin so good is he's got phenomenal footwork. He's able he loves the spin move and working in one way, going back the other. We haven't really seen that from him today. That's what we saw from him mostly in the first 2 games of the tournament. A lot of those inside the post, maybe working to the right, spin back to the left, likes that move. Northwest has taken that away from him today.
And it's not just those 2 starting players that have been the difference in this game as well. We'll take a look at some more highlights here, but the thing to point out, though, for Northwest Missouri State is that Wes Streamer has 16 points himself. In fact, he's outscored the entire bench of Missouri Southern. Those are critical minutes from an unlikely source.
Yeah, for Wes Streamer, this is a player that's just averaging about 6 points per game, and he's had some big games like this year every once in a while. However, Wes Streamer, that bench player comes in, hits a couple shots, but today it's just been stellar from him, hitting the open threes. He's also been able to drive to the basket and hit some of those shots around the rim as well. But the thing for Wes Streamer today, yeah, he's got the 16 points, but it's been his defense. He's been matched up against Cam Martin, has forced a couple turnovers, limited Martin in the post, and that is what has helped propel Northwest out to this 8-point lead.
These championship games are the time whenever star players can be at their best, but superstars are not the only people that have a chance to shine. Dreamer's showing that right here. And on the Missouri Southern side, Winston Dissero off the bench in about 12 minutes of play, 5 of 7 from the field for 11 points. The thing to point out, though, is if Missouri Southern is going to have a chance to come back and pull off one of the best upsets in tournament history, they need to get a collective effort from everybody, starters and bench players alike. Dessau is doing his job and doing it effectively, just like Dreamer has.
Yeah, those 11 points for Dessau kind of what has kept Missouri Southern in this game. You look at the leading scorers for Missouri Southern on the season. Cam Martin does have those 11, but Kinzer Lambert, the second leading scorer, just 2 points. Only 2 shot attempts for him. Elijah Clark, 5 points, 2 for 4 from the field. So for Missouri Southern, yes, you like those 11 points from Dessau, but look to get Lambert, Clark, and Martin a little bit more involved offensively.
So those are our statistics for the first half. We're going to send it over to the second half now. Northwest has won the championship for 6 straight seasons. Can they make it 7 straight, or will Missouri Southern pull off a miraculous comeback upset? Find out. The second half is next. Thank you for tuning in to the MIAA.
We're back at historic Municipal Auditorium here in Kansas City, Missouri. Just joining us, this is Omar Alvarez. Alongside of me is Hall of Fame coach Tom Smith. Northwest Missouri State with a 12-point lead over Missouri Southern State University Lions by a score of 45-33. And we take a look at a couple comparisons. Cam Martin and Ryan Hawkins, kind of two big players for both teams. Martin with 11 points, 5 of 7 from the field, 4 rebounds. And he's picked up 2 early fouls, Coach. And on the flip side for the Bearcats, Ryan Hawkins, a quiet 4 points, 2 of 4 from the field, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist. You know, he's having himself a quiet ball game, but we're going to expect him to kind of pick it up as we go through.
You know, Omar, the great thing about this team is that they don't care who does the scoring. And when Wes Dreamer came in, they had the mismatch with Cam Martin trying to guard him, so they took Dreamer to the perimeter, and they got him the ball, and he ends up, doing a great job for him. And again, I think he has 16, along with Trevor Hudson, and they don't care. Ryan Hawkins is the leading scorer over the course of the year. He knows he's going to get his, but there's only one thing that concerns Northwest. How do we win this game? How do we win the tournament? How do we get to the NCAA? And how do we win that championship again?
And one thing that Missouri Southern State can't do is turn the ball over. They had 8 turnovers there in the first half. And the Bearcats, believe it or not, Coach, did not turn the ball over in the first half.
No, and that's one of the things Southern's got to do a better job of putting some pressure on them.
So Elijah Clark on the far wing, give down low to Cam Martin. Cam Martin tried to bullying his way down low. Counted and one.
Yeah, now that time I thought Cam did a really, really good job of keeping himself under control. Something a lot of young kids that are listening, that are inside players, need to understand: the closer you are to the basket, the slower you need to go. Not the faster, the slower, because you need to take your time. Ball fake, get people in the air, draw fouls, take your time.
It's Cam Martin off the mark on the free throw. He's 0 for 3 in the ball game from the charity stripe. Hawkins guarded closely by Lambert. That's a Ryan Welty. Top to Diego Bernard. Looks down low for Hawkins. He gets it stolen away.
I think he had him on a nice cut, a back screen or a nice cut.
And an interesting thing, on the other end, they had Cam Martin on Diego Bernard. We'll see if they can exploit that. Parker Jennings tries to get a step on Waters. Set dishes to Martin.
Ooh.
Diego Bernard with an acrobatic move was going to go up for the block on Cam Martin and somersaulted his way over.
I'm giving Diego a 9 out of 10 on that, on a gymnastics move. That was unbelievable. He could have really got hurt, but he's so athletic that he just recovered.
Lambert out to Jennings, worked his way around a screen. Thought about pulling up, had Bernard right in his face. Walker looking down low for Martin and just threw it away.
Yeah, that was just a bad pass. And he knows it. Braylon Walker saying my fault.
But the 9th turnover of the ball game for the Lions. The Bearcats able to convert 10 points in the first half off of those turnovers.
That's too many. That's not the recipe to beat Northwest Missouri by any stretch of the imagination.
Bernard will bring the ball up the floor. He'll give to Hudgens, work his way around a screen. Gets it stolen away. Elijah Clark will go baseline. It's stolen away by the Bearcats. Turnover number 10.
Once again, if you don't take advantage of the steal, great steal from Trevor Hudson, you don't take advantage of that, it's going to hurt you.
Bernard couldn't hit that one. Elijah Clark will look to push. That smartly gives it out to Lambert, who pulls from 3. Rebound controlled by Cam Martin. He'll draw the foul. Looks like that was going to be on Luke Waters. And it will be.
Well, this is an unusual situation, actually, that Northwest doesn't get into very often, but they have 3 team fouls while Southern has none. And we talked earlier about how few times Northwest will allow you to get into a 1-on-1.
Jennings will inbound to Martin. Look to size up Dreamer. Dreamer doing a good job of playing it clean. And again, Coach, you just can't stop a powerhouse like Cam Martin.
Can't stop that one. It'll be, but again, if they come down and they execute and they go for the three, if you're trading 3 for 2, it doesn't work.
To a single-digit lead. Hudgens uses a screen from Hawkins. Then gives to Bernard, and Martin's playing very well off Bernard.
Yeah, they're giving Bernard the 3.
Dreamer. Rebound to Martin. That would have been big for Dreamer. That would have been his 5th 3 of the ball game.
Well, Southern needs to make hay while the sun shines right here because Northwest is a little out of sync.
Cam Martin will get the ball in the short corner. They'll call for an ISO. Guarded closely by Dreamer. Gets a shot stuffed. Looks like Cam Martin shoved Dreamer down. Didn't get a call there. Elijah Clark with the step back 3. Rebound to Hawkins.
And here we are again, walking it up, making Southern go on the defense.
Kind of a high intense possession there for the Lions, and on the flip side, Northwest is so calm and collected. Welty, now to Dreamer. Gets his space, and kind of a dumb foul there if you're Elijah Clark.
There's really no reason. Coach Bosch's over there and saying, why? We put a little pressure on him. Wes Faber's not going to beat Elijah Clark off the dribble very easily, that's for sure. You don't need to pick up just cheap fouls. You cannot let them get to the free throw line in the second half there.
Hudgens, who uses a screen from Bernard, works his way around. A little bit of advantage on Cam Martin.
Yeah, Hawkins trying to get out of his way here.
Trevor Hudgens working his way around. Finds Bernard near the glass for the finish. Just a great feed from Hudgens to Bernard. Easy finish.
Well, and don't miss out on the fact that Bernard works so well without the ball. That's the first points that Parker Jennings has had, I think, last night and tonight.
Jennings,
and he's a good little scorer.
Gets his first points on the board. Definitely a good three-point shooter for the Lions. Hudgens, guarded by Lambert, draws the foul. Just a great play there. Hudgens gets a step on Lambert. He's going to go to the line to shoot 2.
Well, again, when you get them isolated like that and they're going, one-on-one, it's something that they're going to have trouble handling.
As we're going to cut it to Bethany for the sideline report.
Yeah, guys, Northwest Missouri State able to have a 12-point lead at the half, but as you heard Coach Ben McCollum say, Missouri Southern is a good team, and he's not comfortable quite with that lead. And Missouri Southern has always had such a great offense because of their ability to go inside to Cam Martin, but also their outside shooters that really stretch the floor. Elijah Clark is the three-point record holder there at Missouri Southern. Braylon Walker and Parker Jennings can really knock down the shot. Kinzer Lambert also very capable of shooting that 3. So Missouri Southern, a dangerous team in that aspect, and really score some points fast and really come back in games. I'm sure that's what Ben McCollum is telling his team right now. Get out on the shooters, find those shooters, make sure we contain them. Back to you guys.
Northwest Missouri State with an 8-point lead over the Lions by a score of 47-39, and Coach Northwest is so calm and collective on the offensive end, and that's really shown in the ball game.
Well, there's no question about it, and I think the point was made that obviously Missouri Southern is dangerous, and I think again, the more they get their other players involved, the more dangerous I think they're going to become. And right now, I think they've got the chance, as I said earlier, to make hay while the sun shines, because Northwest is in a little bit of a lull right now. Their execution has not been quite as crisp as it was in the first half. They'll get it back, so you better make some points up right now.
There's a noticeable difference in the first half shooting compared to the second. Trevor Hudgens knocks down the first one. Trevor Hudgens now with 17 points.
Ooh.
Goes 1 for 2 on that trip.
These are really funny rims, too. I've seen more balls go down and come back out than I've seen many times.
Parker Jennings almost got the ISO with Bernard.
That's going to...
Well, foul on this end. That's going to be on Ryan Welty.
That's a tough call, and obviously it's a judgment call by the official. who thought it was, but more often than not, when you're handing the ball off and you do not stop and make the handoff, you're going to get called for a moving screen. And I thought that looked a little more like a moving screen than a block.
Desiso, ball for the Lions. Out to Braylon Walker, who penetrates. Cam Martin will control the rebound. He'll get fouled. It's one thing the Bearcats can't give up. It's the second chance opportunities for the Lions, and Cam Martin does a good job of taking advantage of those.
No, because with those second, Omar, with those second chance opportunities have come fouls, and we're now at a point where, one of those rare occasions that Northwest has 5 team fouls and Missouri Southern only has 2.
Cam Martin's going to go to the line to shoot 2. Cam Martin is shooting off on his free throws.
For an 80% shooter. 80 plus, I think.
And he's yet to hit a free throw in the ball game. Misses them both. 0 for 4 on the free throws by Cam Martin. And against a team like the Bearcats, you got to hit those free throws, the easy points.
Absolutely. You cannot leave points on the floor at the free throw line.
Hawkins for the Bearcats. He'll drive on Lambert. Out to Welty. Now to Dreamer. That's 4 threes. Back to Hudgens. Shot clock winding down. Hudgens a double team. Has to pull up. Airballed it. Martin gets it poked away by Hawkins. Or it's stolen away by Hawkins. Controlled by Hudgens.
Well, I like the fact that Southern's picking up their defense right now. They're getting after them a little harder.
Hudgens off a screen from Hawkins.
They're just, that's a steal. That'll be on Hudson.
Kind of a frustration foul there.
That's the second time that Braylon Walker has picked his pocket. That doesn't happen to Trevor Hudgens very often.
One of the, if not the best point guards in the MIAA, and certainly can make an argument as one of the best in Division II.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question he's one of the best in Division II. But that's how quick Braylon Walker's hands are.
Now, I always knew that was going to be an interesting matchup coming into this ballgame, the matchup between Walker and Hudgens. Just see how both of those guards would perform. Tharp down low to Martin. Finishes with the reverse.
Right now, Southern is making this happen on the defensive end. They have picked up their defensive intensity, and they are playing their basketball game much better than they did in the first half. When I think they let Northwest do what they wanted to do a lot more than they are right now. Right now, they're taking some of their offense away from them.
And it's kind of translated that into the offensive end, playing good defense, and that leads to the easy offense.
You know what? That's a really great point, Omar. That's exactly what happens when you start to play defense, and your offense is going to pick up. And when your offense picks up, it's easier to play better defense.
Hudgens uses a screen from Bernard, and you still see Cam Martin guarding Bernard. Looks to work his way around and finds a cutting wedge. Dreamer for the easy lay-in.
Great cut off of the perimeter. Great pass by Diego Bernard.
And that's where I think Diego Bernard excels the most, is creating those opportunities. Does such a tremendous job of penetrating. We saw that in full display on that play. Lambert at the top of the key, guarded by Hudgens. Definitely looks to use that size advantage. Looks like he might have slipped. Bernard will go the other way. Dreamer for 3. Rebound controlled by Kinzer Lambert. Gives it away to Desiso. Slows it down for the Lions. Lambert back to Desiso. Use a screen from Martin and pulls from 3. In and out. Possession to go to the Bearcats. You talk about Kinzer Lambert, only with 2 points, 1 of 4 from the field, yet to hit a 3.
Well, sometimes it's just tough to get into the flow of the game because, do you go into Martin or are you playing perimeter a little bit more? And this is a team that needs to mix it up a little bit. And Kinzer has to be a part of it.
Hudgens off of a screen, kicks to Diego Bernard at the top of the key, who buries the 3.
And all of a sudden it's 12 again.
Diego Bernard now with 14. Also Bernard with 5 assists and 7 rebounds. Cam Martin guarded by Dreamer. Martin will step right over Dreamer for the lay-in. And that's interesting to hear. You got the Lions who loved the call to the no call, and then he got the Bearcats who are just absolutely irate.
Well, and again, it's a very, very difficult call for officials. And
because I think that was the first three that Kent Martin almost just got a little bit of a hand in Bernard's face.
actually, if you're going to not make that call, then you have to call West Dreamer for a flop. And they didn't do that, so I don't think he was really convinced.
We'll have another foul on Dreamer.
John Moore's a really good official, believe me, but and that can really make you look bad when you don't make a call when you need to, you know.
As well, a timeout on the floor. We'll take it with them as well. Bearcats with a 10-point lead over the Lions by a score of 53-43. You're watching coverage of the championship game here on the MIAA Network.
Well, Cam Martin's going to end up on the free throw line this time. And I think, you know, without a doubt, legitimately, that was a foul.
Cam Martin knocks down his first free throw of the ball game. Take a look at that last play.
There's that play on when Dreamer's going to fall down here. Now, I would say that was a great call. That's a non-call. Now the question is, you know, what makes it so difficult is, do you call a flop on that? You know, because Dreamer actually fell down without, you know, having a whole lot of contact, and that's one of the toughest things for officials. But the other two officials I saw with smiles on their face because they were glad they didn't have to make that call, Omar.
Absolutely. Definitely got to sell it a little bit if you're Dreamer.
Right.
Hudgens guarded by Walker. Gets it back to Hudgens. Shot clock winding down. Jab steps on Lambert and step back three from Hudgens. Perfect.
Well, you're watching a big time player there, and I mean without any doubt, this kid could play at a lot of levels.
He's on the other end, an easy lay-in for Desiso.
Desiso is just doing a tremendous job of keeping them in the game.
And it's really about a game of momentum. You saw that three on the other end, the crowd went wild, and then on the other end you had a lay-in that really kind of didn't really mitigate it, but it really just slowed things down.
Quieted it down a little bit. It's not allowing them to get, you know, really going.
Hudgens, MIAA Player of the Year, Trevor Hudgens. Good hesitation move. Hudgens with 20. We'll have a foul on this, and that's going to be on Braylon Walker.
You know, Omar, I would be remiss not to say this, but watch well, you just saw it on the replay. Diego Bernard jumped above everybody and tipped that ball out just to keep it alive and give them another possession. Those are big-time winning plays.
And at 6 feet tall, Diego Bernard has 14 points and 8 rebounds, nearing a double-double.
And he's going above a lot of not only big players and tall players, but lengthy players, and he still skies above them.
Of course, you got Cam Martin at 6'9", and Bernard just can out-jump anybody on the floor. Welty.
Guarded by Tharp.
That's a Bernard. Fadeaway jump shot from Bernard over Martin. And that is not an easy shot. Get it over Martin, but fading away.
Well, that was a tough shot. Crucial time right here. Not the shot you want there. No, he's not about.
And it'll go the other way.
Clark. And that's, again, a little bit of the problem that Southern is facing right now. Do we go inside? Do we attack on the perimeter? What is really going for us? Elijah Clark has not taken a shot in a while and suddenly just pulls up and takes kind of a wild off-balance three that didn't draw iron.
It's Cam Martin with 21 for the Lions. You got to think they're going to go back to him. Welty for three.
And another great pass by Diego.
Just such a great team in Northwest Missouri State. They can do it all. 48% from three collectively. Now with a 14-point lead over the Lions. Elijah Clark gets a step on a Welty.
Great jump stop. Absolutely. Great jump stop by Elijah Clark. That's the Elijah Clark that we need to see right here. Whether it's taking the three or whether it's getting to the basketball, that's the Elijah Clark we need to see.
As the Lions, 54% from the field, 22 of 41 on their attempts. The Bearcats, 25 of 47, 53%, shooting very well in the ball game and just noticeable score difference. There's off a foul on this end.
Again, this is one of the rare times that you're going to see Southern being in the 1-on-1 and only have 4 team fouls, and that's a recipe for winning. That's one of the things that you have to do against Northwest. You have to get to the free throw line more than they do,
and you got to hit those free throws.
Absolutely, that's the biggest thing.
And they really have been doing so. They're now 3 of 8 from the free throw line. You just can't have that.
No, because if you look at just 3 or 4 of those in addition right now, you're looking at a 6 or 7 point game.
And then you take into consideration those turnovers that they've had and the points off of turnovers, and essentially the Lions have beat themselves.
They're hurting themselves. They are, but I feel like if you can get Elijah Clark involved here, it's really something. Bring Braylon Walker back in pretty soon too.
Streamer out to Bernard, and Martin's playing a little bit up closer on Bernard. Bernard will kind of ice on Cam Martin and pull up for mid-range again. He'll draw the foul. That was going to be on Lambert.
Well, Jeff Boschee is really, really upset, and I don't blame him. The referee made the call, but he made it probably 3 seconds after the play was over. And again, it was one of those situations where they almost waited to see whether that ball was going to go in or not. When it didn't, they called the foul. And I have a lot of trouble with that. I don't quite understand that reasoning. A foul is a foul, and it either has to be called when it occurs or don't call it at all.
Absolutely, as Diego Bernard knocks down the first free throw, a 78% free throw shooter on the season. And Diego Bernard, 17 points, make it 18, 8 rebounds, 6 assists.
Well, let's say one thing right now from you and I. This has been a lot more fun than it was last night calling this game.
Absolutely.
And the flow of this game has been way better.
And they haven't had to go to the monitor about 30 or so times.
That's exactly right.
As Martin, again, guarded by Dreamer, bullying his way right through Dreamer again.
Wes Dreamer is taking a beating and just keeps on ticking.
As the crowd noticeably unhappy on that call.
Well, we have a great crowd, for this game, and one group's booing, the other group's cheering.
You gotta love it.
Yep.
Hudgens will call for the screen. Work his way around the perimeter.
Wes Dreamer's praying to get.
As Hudgens bounces it off his foot. You never see that from Trevor Hudgens.
Not very often. No. He's had 3 turnovers in the second half here.
It's Elijah Clark behind the back. 3 on the money.
Well, I think I said it earlier. Elijah Clark needs to get involved in the game, and he's getting himself involved.
And he was one of the few players yesterday that really didn't let that really tacky type of ball game and that you know, I dare say, weird ball game get to him and let it interrupt the way he plays.
No, it did not. He really played very well.
There will be a timeout on the floor. We'll take it with him as well.
You know, right now you're seeing them make a run at him, and then all of a sudden you look back up, and it's back, you know, to a 9-point game. That's how efficient Northwest are offensively.
Watching championship coverage here on the MIAA Network in Municipal Auditorium. Second half action in historic Municipal Auditorium here in Kansas City, Missouri. The Bearcats with a 9-point lead over the Lions. 7 minutes to go in the ball game with an MIAA tournament championship on the line.
Well, we're down to that point in the game when you know, every possession, both ways, really going to make a difference.
Starp will bring the ball up the floor for the Lions. Up to Desiso. He's done a good job coming off the bench. Desiso with 15. Elijah Clark from mid-range drills it.
There's that mid-range jump shot. Now he's one of those rare players that can still shoot that mid-range with great control on that shot.
And that's the Elijah Clark that we saw last night in the ball game.
Absolutely. The Elijah Clark is one of the better players in this league without a question.
Ryan Hawkins draws a double team from Cam Martin. Diego Bernard guarded by Tharp. Dreamer for 3. That would have been big for the Bearcats and for Dreamer. Had he made that one, it would have been his 5th 3 of the game. Starp will penetrate instead of work his way around.
Well, it's going to be tough to beat Diego off the dribble. He's pretty good at it. Regarding the dribble, he's going to switch here.
Desiso for 3, perfect. Puts the Lions within 4. And we have a ball game.
What a game. I mean, this Desiso just, right now he's their MVP in my opinion. There's nobody else. He's the one that's kept them alive.
And again, still the Bearcats really calm and collected. They slow things down. Don't force anything. Lions going to need a big defensive possession on this play. Bernard to the basket. Couldn't get it to fall.
Well, he took a couple of bumps there, but
Desiso. Trevor Hudgens will get the rebound.
Yeah.
He'll draw the foul on Tharp.
Desiso's really played well, but Coach Boese is just like, you know, you've got to understand how important that possession was. And you know, it was just a little too quick because you know what's going to happen now. They're going to come out, put you on defense, and make you play.
As you know, Desiso with 18 points, Elijah Clark with 12. We're going to take it to a break here in Municipal Auditorium. You're watching championship action on the MIAA Network.
Baseball for me just kind of was the glue that kept my family together. I feel like I was able to come here and get my triple major as well as play a super high level of baseball against some of the best players in the country. There's a lot of options here in Division II with a lot of great ball players and a lot of great people, and they make sure that they give you every opportunity to succeed on and off the field.
Signs attract half of all new customers. A vehicle wrap can get 30,000 views per day. On-site signage costs roughly 2 cents per view. At Impact Signs, Awnings, Wraps, we know signs work. Custom signs, interior or exterior, for any application. Commercial awnings, any shape, any size. Full color video displays, time and temp boards, gas price changers, and scoreboards. We can wrap anything, vehicles, trailers, boats, and more. Check us out at impact4800.com.
I knew that there was an opportunity to have my college paid for if I was good enough to play baseball at that level. That was going to make a big difference in my family. D2 baseball gave me an opportunity to play at a high level and to get an education that's going to be valuable for me throughout the rest of my life. I chose to take my experience of being a student athlete and pursue that within my career and to get a master's degree. If I wouldn't have had a baseball scholarship, there'd be no chance that I'm doing what I'm doing today.
Second half action here in the MIAA Tournament Championship game. Northwest Missouri State clinging on to a 4-point lead over the Missouri Southern State University Lions.
Well, this has to be as close as they've been since probably the first 2 or 3 minutes of the game.
Diego Bernard for the Bearcats. A solid player, Diego Bernard, done a good job of taking advantage of that mismatch. The speed advantage he had when Martin was guarding him. Now Martin's guarding Ryan Hawkins. Hawkins couldn't hit that one. Take a look at the foul comparison. Northwest with 10, Missouri Southern with 12 as the Lions will slow things down. Kinzer Lambert at the top of the key. Down low to Martin, who wanted the slam, instead will draw the foul. This is one thing that Cam Martin needs to do, Coach. He needs to knock down the free throws. He's only made 2 of his 7 attempts.
2 of 7 from an 80% plus shooter is that good. I look for him to knock these 2 down.
Look at their.
The interesting thing right now, Omar, a lot of people won't understand what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it. I played basketball for a legendary coach. His name is Gene Bartow. He actually replaced John Wooden at UCLA, and Gene used to say, "Are they making their run too early?" And it'll be interesting to see if Southern is making that run too early. And believe me, you can't decide when to make it all the time, but they only need to lead one time, and that's when the buzzer goes off at the end. Cam Martin misses another free throw. It doesn't help.
And it's really tough to have momentum against this Bearcat squad who's used to being in the moment. They're used to being in these big championship games. You know, aside from this tournament championship that they've won 4 years in a row, they've made it to the national championship, and they've won 2 of the last 3.
No doubt, no doubt. But this team has played them the best, there's no doubt. And when they want to guard you, Missouri Southern can guard with anybody.
Hudgens will penetrate. He'll work his way around the perimeter. Looking down low for Hawkins, and Lambert shoved him.
You know, Kinzer Lambert, I know they're upset on the Southern bench, but Kinzer Lambert has just had a hard time getting into this game. You know, such a good player. It's almost like Southern has so many good players that, you know, they need them all to be, you know, pulling the cart in the same direction, all hitting on all cylinders.
Kinzer Lambert only with 2 points, and definitely got him with the shove on that play. Kind of tried back in his arms to try and sell that he didn't get it, but definitely got him on that one.
You just can't give them easy, points at the free throw line to go with everything else. Here we go. We're down to the last four minutes. We'll have one more media timeout.
They'll call the foul on Ryan Welty. That'll send Elijah Clark to the free throw line on the double bonus.
Kind of a tough call, but you know what? You have to appreciate the job the officials have done in this game. They've kept it under control. They've kept the flow going. Haven't been over looking at the monitor every couple of plays. And that's really, really important.
Also, it seems like they called it pretty consistent throughout the ball game.
They have, and that was it was a little foul, but they're going to keep control of this game down the stretch here. I don't think they want to interfere with, and they want to make sure that the players are deciding who wins the game, but they also don't want anybody getting away with something they shouldn't.
Bearcats with a 3-point lead over the Lions. 4 minutes to go in the championship ball game in the MIAA tournament. Wow. Lambert's going to pick up another foul.
Well, the only thing, probably show it again, but the only thing that Lambert's got to be careful with is his hands. You have to keep your hands back, and you can't put that elbow, your arm and elbow up on his back.
And that's going to be number 4 on Lambert. That'll send Ryan Hawkins to the free throw line. Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh boy,
Ryan Hawkins, and
some rare things happening in this game right now.
And you got to make those free throws.
There's good players missing big free throws. That's how important the game is.
Cam Martin will draw the foul. That was going to be on Wes Dreamer.
Yeah, Dreamer's got to give him a little bit of space out there and not get himself caught up and getting beat off the dribble. It was under 4 minute last media timeout in the game. But Dreamer's got to give him a little bit of space and be able to move his feet and keep him from penetrating in that position.
We'll take a break. You're watching championship game coverage here in Municipal Auditorium on the MIAA Network. Cam Martin will go to the free throw line. Lions creeping up on a 3-point deficit from the Bearcats.
Well, he's had some big misses. Not that one.
And that's one of the men that's had a couple misses at the charity stripe, Cam Martin.
There's what we were talking about giving him some space. And, Wes Dreamer got caught coming way out on the floor in that position, and you can't do that because Cam Martin's going to blow by you if you get out too far.
Cam Martin now with 26 points in the ball game, 4 of 10 from free throw line. Lions within 1. Hudgens to use a ball screen, guarded by Lambert. Works his way around. Out to Diego Bernard. Thinks about a 3. Instead will try to isolate with Cam Martin, but dribbles it off his foot. Now Tharp will go the other way. Take a look at the rebounds. Missouri Southern, one of the things that we touched on is that Missouri Southern needs to win the rebound battle, and they've done so. 30-21, a 9-point margin over the Bearcats.
And I think a lot of those rebounds have led to fouls, and that's an important stat that we talked about early also.
It's Cam Martin, also with Dreamer, who's had a couple fouls. He'll wrap him up.
There's absolutely nothing that Wes Dreamer can do to stop him inside unless he gets some type of help to either double, and they just don't double very often.
And he's just outsized. Cam Martin comes at 6'9", 240 pounds, and of course
Wes Dreamer's about 140. Wet.
Comes in at 6'7", 200, and Martin misses another free throw.
We always talk about getting over the hump. As coaches, you're always talking, we need to get over the hump, and Southern's in that spot right now. They can get it tied.
Martin is 5 of 12 from the free throw line. Make it 6 of 13.
Well, we've got a tie ball game starting all over with 3 to go.
Right back to where we started. 67 apiece. 3 minutes to go in the championship game. Hudgens takes it up. Counted and one.
You know, the thing that, the beautiful thing about that move that people watching on TV can see right now on the replay. Watch how high he played that off of the board where no one could get up to block it. And that's what great players can do.
Great players make great plays, and it's a really tough shot. You know, you talk about skying it off the glass and just gauging the distance you need.
And he played that well above the square. And that is a real art.
As Hudgens completes a three-point play now with 25 to lead the Bearcats in scoring. Desiso on the other end.
Great follow by Cam Martin. That's what happens when you go to help and you go for the block. It leaves that player open. Cam Martin just followed up.
Cam Martin with 29 points. He's only hit 50% of his free throws, and that very well could be a difference maker in the ball game. As Hudgens for the Bearcats. Call a screen from Hawkins. Look to ISO again.
Oh, that is
And a push shot in from Hudgens. And again, great ball players make great plays like that.
Well, it's Hudgens' time. And you don't realize again how tough that shot was. A little runner, one-handed. Big possession right here for Southern.
Absolutely. As Elijah Clark almost mishandles it. Gives it down low to Cam Martin, who's guarded by Hawkins. Jacob Bernard strips it away from Martin.
Yeah, he got it, but he was on the end line.
Now just a good play. Good help defense there. He really went quick.
Boy, you called it. That's a great call. How quickly Diego Bernard was able to get there to help and get his hands on the ball. It was just amazing.
And just as soon as Cam Martin turned his head the other way is when Diego Bernard went in and tried capitalizing on that.
Well, let's give Cam Martin his credit, though, too. 29 points right here. He's going to get 2 more.
You said it how it is, Coach.
That's it. And it's one point game with 1:30 to go.
And you know, it's almost the same scoring affair as in the last contest they had. It was 77-76. Take a look at the fouls, and they're pretty even. Missouri Southern committing 15, the Bearcats with 14, and both teams just got to take advantage of them. And of course, Missouri Southern hasn't done a good job of taking advantage of that, as Trevor Hudgens lays it up and in.
I think he only beat 3 people on that drive. My goodness. That's really something.
He's a talent. Big possession here for the Lions.
A
minute to go in the ball game.
Really key. Better be ready to help. Don't, let him shoot that one.
And that's exactly right.
Diego Bernard just went. I think his head was above the square on that.
And that was
rebound.
not the shot you wanted if you're Missouri Southern. Cam Martin not known for his three-point shooting ability. You know, I dare say it's kind of an unselfish play there. Or a selfish play there, rather.
A little bit. Sometimes you want to be the hero, and you need to let everybody be the hero.
Trevor Hudgens and the Bearcats with the chance to extend this to a 2-possession game. Great hesitation there by Hudgens. And that's the type of play that the MIAA Player of the Year makes. Extends it to a 2-possession game. 22 seconds to go. 5-point lead for the Bearcats, and they're looking like they're going to take their 5th straight MIAA tournament championship.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Great players make great plays, and it's always great, and it's always the best. I was very fortunate in my career to have the all-time leading scorer in the history of this league, Billy Finley, from Raytown South here in Kansas City, scored 2,800 points. And he averaged 30 for me for 2 years in a row. And there's nothing better than knowing you're going on the floor with 30 points in your pocket every time you play. And there's nothing better for Northwest to be going on the floor knowing that they have Trevor Hudgens on their team, because the last 2 possessions were just unbelievably amazing.
Hudgens with 31 points to lead the Bearcats, tied with Cam Martin for the leading scorer of the each with 31 apiece. Trevor Hudgens, 13 of 17 from the field, 77%. That's just absolutely special.
And they're going to make him throw it in. Good job. Diego made him throw it in down here. They have to score here. This is a big possession. Huge.
Lambert out to Elijah Clark. Got it closely by Welty. Elijah Clark for 3.
Ooh.
Looks like we're going to have foul. Going to go the other way. Looks like that one's going to be
on Braylon Walker, I think.
Believe so.
Yeah, it was on Braylon Walker. He's had foul trouble. That's his 5th foul. he's another one that just really never got into the flow of this game.
Braylon Walker finishes with 2 points off that foul, 104 from the field, 0 for 1 from deep, 4 rebounds, 3 steals for Braylon Walker. That'll send Diego Bernard to the free throw line, and really just a chance to ice the ball game.
Well, the only thing right now is, not yet.
Couldn't hit the first one. Bernard, a 78% free throw shooter. Knocked down 2 of 3 thus far.
Nope.
Off the mark on the second one.
You can see that was long right from the time he let it go.
Desiso puts it in.
It's still a ball game. It's still a ball game. Funnier things have happened. It's a great take by Desiso. This kid just amazes me. You know, right now, 18 points. You and I watched him keep him in the game last night, and he's probably been the biggest key outside of, Cam Martin, of course, who's 31. But when you get that kind of performance off of someone who's not a regular starter, that's tremendous. He's been a really good player. I honestly think he deserves to make the all-tournament team.
Absolutely, and he's been put up such a great performance coming off the bench with 18 points, 7 of 8, or excuse me. And we take a look at Cam Martin and Trevor Hudgens. What a game they both had. 31 points each. Cam Martin 12-17 from the field, 11 rebounds for the double-double. Trevor Hudgens 31 points, 6 assists off 13 of 17 shooting. And that's just absolutely special, Coach.
Yeah.
77% shooting.
And Trevor Hudgens had 1 foul the whole game. I mean, just
Diego Bernard finishes. And
he wanted to. He wanted to slam it down.
I was waiting
to make sure. Whoa. That is quite a ball game. That's 2 really good teams.
Final score here in historic Municipal Auditorium. Northwest Missouri State Bearcats 78, the Missouri Southern State University Lions 76. The Bearcats with their 5th straight MIAA Conference Tournament Championship victory.
That is really something. You've got to give Southern a lot of credit. They just hung in there and hung in there. They really couldn't get quite. They'd get it to 9 and be stretched to 12. Those are things that with a lot of teams would have dropped their heads. Body language would have gone bad. We can't get over the hump, the whole business. They hung in there. They stuck with it. Elijah Clark woke up a little bit. Desiso did an absolutely tremendous job. Cam Martin really started concentrating on playing and scoring inside and gave them a chance to get back in this basketball game. They just went up against number 12 for Northwest Missouri, who just took over the game late and was the real difference in who was going to win the game.
Of course, we'll cut it to a break, a 2-minute break. When we come back, we'll have the tournament awards as well as a trophy presentation. You're watching coverage of MIAA tournament. We'll cut to a break. Final score here in Municipal Auditorium, 78-76 in favor of the Bearcats. And coaches, what a ball game it was.
It was a great game. Ryan, they're announcing the all-tournament team right now. Ryan Hawkins obviously was one of them. Elijah Clark is going to be another one. Dessasol, to me, I'd be interested to see if they really appreciate what an effort that Dessasol, gave to Missouri Southern. He probably won't, but he, in my opinion, deserves to be there.
Absolutely.
Well, Diego Bernard is next. You got Elijah Clark, Diego Bernard so far, Ryan Hawkins. I don't think there's any doubt who's going to be the MVP, and it isn't going to be you or I. You or me.
Diego Bernard, what a performance he had. 20 points, 8 of 19 from the field, and you really just didn't notice it. He was all over the floor. Yeah. Finished with the double-double. He got 10 rebounds and 6 assists.
Well, and his assists were really, really important. Cam Martin is the 4th player, and again, I don't think there's any doubt. I'd like to give a special award to Dessasol. I really would. I think that kid really played great.
And really, not recognized here, but definitely well accounted for.
I think he just played great.
Absolutely.
And here's without a doubt, in my opinion, the best guard in Division II. And granted, we don't see Division II the way you see Division I, but I'd have to see someone better than Trevor Hudgens.
And it's really amazing. He's only a sophomore.
I know.
He's a couple more years with the Bearcats, and of course they still have the postseason.
And Diego Bernard's only a sophomore, and he's a true sophomore. Hudgens, redshirted obviously, and is a redshirt sophomore, but Diego's not. He's a true sophomore.
And out of their starting lineup, the only person that they're graduating is Ryan Welty, the lone senior in the lineup. And, of course, in the ball game, the only with 6. They pulled 1 off the bench. And that was Wes Dreamer.
Well, Omar, I'm a believer in 7 guys. Maybe I'm old school. I don't know how you put it, but I am. I'm a believer. I don't believe in playing 10 and 11 guys. I don't think you can keep that many people happy. I don't think you can keep everyone there. People are constantly worried about, why did you take me out? Why did I have to come out? I think there's too much. You have 7 or 8 at the most. Those people know they're going to do the play. The other 4 or 5 know their roles. They'll get the play if the game is, is either way ahead, way behind. But other than that, you're a practice player basically, and everybody understands their role better. And the more a team understands their role, the better they're going to be. And you're looking at a team right now where every one of these kids understands their exact role that they have on this team.
Absolutely, and that's what makes them such a championship caliber team. They've won 2 of the last 3 national champions, now 5 straight MIAA tournament championships.
Well, in all the years that I've coached, and I've actually been involved in college basketball for 48 years. I was involved in college basketball for 48 years as an assistant and a head coach, and everything else. There's no greater feeling than listening to this song and knowing that you're going to go down there and cut those nets down. The only difference is when we won it in 2003, I got to listen to Queen's "We Are the Champions," and that's my all-time favorite song. We'll see what they play that as they cut the nets down here.
Absolutely. You talk about the people the players at Northwest Missouri State is going to be graduating. One of them is Ryan Welty, who has shanked 33 pointers in the MIAA tournament games to be the league's all-time career leader. Such a special talent.
I was telling you the story, and I'd just like to share this with everybody else. But in the women's game that played before this game, Central Missouri State, or University of Central Missouri, sorry. I actually coached there, started my coaching career at UCM, but their assistant coach is Mike Nicholson, and Nick was my assistant coach on the men's side when we won the championship in 2003, and he has not won it since then until today as an assistant coach with the Jennies and UCM, and I'm really, really happy. Dave Slifer, the head coach, actually coached with me at Missouri Western. He won for the first time here at Municipal Auditorium, and there's no greater feeling than winning in this building, because you have to remember there's been, I think, 6 NCAA championships played in this building.
It's held more Final Fours than any other venue.
Right.
such a historic place.
And you walk in here and you feel that historic value, I think.
And then, of course, we have the tournament presentation, the all-tournament team, and it's just a great atmosphere to be in.
Well, and not only that, you've got a coach that we may be seeing for the last time. In my opinion, if there isn't someone out there, if there's not an athletic director out there that can't see the value of Ben McCollum as a hire at the Division I, and I'm not talking about the low Division ones that I call pseudo Division ones that aren't really Division ones that would not beat Northwest, on a given night. I'm talking about a good mid-major job. I know Ben McCollum is capable of doing that. I coached in Division I, and I coached against some pretty good coaches, and I know Ben McCollum's as good as any of those coaches.
And he's led the Bearcats, and they're the first MIAA school to win 5 straight tournament titles. Just absolutely tremendous program in Northwest Missouri State.
Well, that in itself is quite an accomplishment because it's very difficult to win the tournament. I mean, I don't know this for a fact, but I think Southern probably only maybe one or two times I think if they won the tournament. Washburn's won it a number of times. We won it at Western a couple times, and they've won it a ton. But 5 in a row, unbelievable and really difficult.
Absolutely. As we're going to kick it to Bethany.
Trevor, the MIAA tournament MVP, 31 points, 6 assists. How did you guys come together and get this thrilling win today?
We just wanted to come out aggressive on offense and defense. Missouri Southern is a great team, as you can all tell. We just wanted to box out, try to contain Cam as much as we could.
I love it.
And after that, just make our shots and defend the ball. That's about it.
The MIAA Player of the Year, the MIAA Tournament MVP. You guys are the regular season champions and tournament champions. But I think there's one more thing that you want to accomplish this year. What is that?
We'll see. We got to take day by day. We're not going to jinx anything, but we're going to prepare for next week when we get back to Maryville. But we're going to be ready for what comes ahead.
It is amazing to me, the little town of Maryville, all the support that you guys get. I mean, Bearcat Nation is incredible. Talk about them.
As you can see, we have about the whole city of Maryville in the stands today on both sides. We're just a family as a whole. Northwest is just a family. Just happy faces. Everyone says hi to each other. We just love each other. It's a great place to be.
Trevor, congratulations. Good luck moving forward.
Thank you.
We have MIAA Player of the Year and MIAA Tournament MVP, Trevor Hudgens.
Well, and you can see the class in their program when you listen to how he speaks, how well he speaks, how he always compliments the other people, the town of Maryville, the fact that they're a family. Those are the things that are every bit as important as winning all the games because you can see the maturity in this group. And that is one of the reasons that they win a lot of games.
And you kind of mentioned, you touched briefly on this point, and you just never see Northwest kind of be flashy with anything. They're always, you don't see them talking. As we're going to send it to Coach Ben McCollum.
5th straight MIAA Tournament Championship for the Bearcats. How proud are you of what this program has become?
Yeah, I mean, we've got good kids in the program, and obviously I'm proud of the accomplishments. Hopefully we can keep it going throughout the postseason and keep making a run.
Trevor was incredible tonight, as always. Diego Bernard. Talk about Wes Dreamer, a freshman.
He's been great all year. I think his was just coming into his own, kind of getting himself over the freshman hump. I thought he did that. He did a great job on Cam, as good a job as you could possibly do. And, and then he obviously some big shots as well.
You're expecting to hear the regional selections tonight, going to be at your place. How exciting is it to know that you will get to play in front of Bearcat Nation?
Oh, it'll be good. I'm not real excited yet. It'll take me a day or two to recover and then, get ready for Saturday and see what we can do.
Coach, congratulations. Good luck.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Well, I think, again, you listen to Coach McCollum. I think he was being kind of very kind there, because I know that he is thinking ahead to, the next situation, which is obviously tonight will be the selection show. They will be the #1 seed. They will be the host team, and in Division II, it's a big advantage to be the host team and be able to play in front of your people, play at home, and yet there's a lot of pressure when you're the #1 seed and you're playing at home. So it'll be interesting. Obviously, they've been through that pressure before.
And they're arguably the favorite to win the national title this year again.
I've got to see. I was around early in the season. The Hall of Fame Classic is played up in St. Joe. With a lot of the good teams around the country. Southern Nazarene will be in the regional with us, was in there, and there are a couple other really, really good teams, West Texas State, West Texas A&M. There will be some good teams, but I've got to see the team that can beat this team. And certainly in the regional, I've got to see a team that's going to beat them in Maryville. But even when the national tournament comes in, I'll be interested to see if anyone can match them talent for talent.
I know you talk about the MIAA tournament win percentage for Coach McCollum, who's led this very impressive, Northwest Missouri State squad, led them to a 21-4 record in the MIAA tournament.
Well, I would also be remiss if I don't mention one other thing. There's a player on Northwest Missouri State, Kirk Finley, and he would have been the seventh player at the time, which probably would have put Waters as maybe the eighth player who moved up to the seventh. But Kirk Finley got hurt in the Hall of Fame Classic, the very first or second game of the year, I can't remember, who was a very integral part of this thing, and absolutely great kid. And I'm happy for him, and yet I feel, sorry that he didn't get a chance to play.
And it's almost like you definitely want to play, but getting hurt in the first game out there, it's really tough. But you love to see your team still excel.
There's no question. And Kirk's right out there with them and taking part of it. He's over here on the right with the white shirt on, and I'm sure he's just as proud of his teammates as if he had participated.
So there you have the 2020 MIAA men's basketball tournament champions, the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats. Coach, just a very special program in Northwest Missouri State. And
well, this is the picture, and obviously they did play Queen. They played We Are the Champion. I after all the years I've coached and everything else, it still gives me the goosebumps.
And you almost have to wonder, how long is this dominant reign of the Bearcats going to last?
Well, it's going to last as long as Ben McCollum's there, I'll tell you that much. I don't feel that there's any chance that he's going to let it slip, because I think I said this earlier in the broadcast. For him, you have to admire. He's lost his voice already. You can tell, when he gets interviewed. But for him to keep his intensity and his enthusiasm up through all these, 4 or 5 years, last 4 or 5 years, that in itself is amazing, and it's something that not very many coaches could do.
Bethany spoke to Trevor Hudgens. They said they weren't looking ahead. What do you tell your squad when you're heading into, of course, you just won the championship and you got the national title?
Well, I don't think he has to tell them a lot. I think mostly because they've been through it. I mean, almost everybody except for Joey Withers is back from last year. So I think they know how to prepare for it. And part of that playing in the NCAA is being prepared and keeping an even keel. And I think, what he's going to say is, we'll take a couple days off here. We're going to, kind of regroup, get a little rest, and then we're going to come back and start getting ready for the regional.
And that'll wrap things up here in Municipal Auditorium for MIAA tournament action. Again, the 2020 MIAA champions, the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats. This has been Omar Alvarez and Hall of Fame coach Tom Smith signing off.
In the MIAA, we care. We bring our A game in the MIAA.
We are higher education. We are community. We are winners. We care about giving student athletes a voice. We are Division II. We are